Beautiful people, it's me, Pamela, on my YouTube. Cho, no, what's the T? Siyahlazia.
You know, Malawians had their own march now, right? They were striking, literally, banning things, going crazy. I'm just like, there's no need for that. There's no need. You know, I had said to myself, I will never speak about what is going on in South Africa, the foreigners, immigration, or whatever you call it. You know, because my thing is that if I were these people, right, money or not, I was just going to go home. And I said, legal or not. If whether you are illegal or you are legal in South Africa, you are doing what? You are working, you are selling fruits in the streets, because that's all Malawians do anyways. I was just going to go home. Or what they do is that they normally work in with Bangladeshis and Pakistans in their shops. But other than that, they normally, especially in Johannesburg anyways, they sell fruits in the street, they cut them up. Someone was even saying, and then you will never know, ukuthi lo mess ekade besika ngawo uba usasephi, uqhamuka phi, where was it, in fact, that knife, before they use it to cut up those fruits. So my thing is that, why are you causing chaos? Refusing to go home. Just go home. That's just my thing. You've been working here, and you are saying now you're coming up with stories every day, which people are like, oh, you're in a guy. And do you remember, March and March was like, can they show us the bruises where they were sharpered and moved and a lot of things were happening to them? There's nothing to show. They went to the police station. They were sitting there for days. Now they are parking there, literally parking there at Sherwood in Durban. I'm like, why? Just organize themselves to go home. No, I hear, I don't know, Malawians have no money now. The Malawians in Malawi, there's no money to repatriate them. And at some stage, some of them are paying for themselves to go home. How did you get here? That's my thing. And then go now when it's time. Guys, like, we're complicating things. Honestly, there is really, really no need for this. And you still yep, but you're still in South Africa. I'm like, how? Are you even striking, bending tires, going crazy? They are the ones that are doing those things. Man, March and March was like, we're not for that. We definitely not for that. Malawians, guys, have gone too far. Instead of just going home in peace. What's hard?
The Malawians must actually go home now. They're being chaotic now. Like, there's no need for this. Haibo, they're even like clashing with police now. Like, why are you not home already? This is just my thing. Where are the buses? Almost 10 buses have left already for the past 3 days. They must call those people now. And they wouldn't do this in their country. That's just what's crazy, though.
The Home Affairs Department, but before we get into that conversation, I want us to have a listen to what actually transpired, or the reasons that we were given in terms of why we saw that chaos break out.
The chaos which is happening here, it's a misunderstanding. When my fellow guys, when they see the people are being loaded in the Home Affairs van, they were thinking now they are getting arrested because they wanted to know where they are going. So when we coming to find the clarity with the Home Affairs, when they started to fight. So as they were fighting now, I couldn't explain anything. Some, to me, they are taking advantage. I have to be honest. Because now some, they just say there was free buses, let's just go there. So to say honestly speaking, some they just coming for free buses.
Back to back. So as you heard from that conversation, Adam Ali does state that there was misinformation regarding one of the Malawian nationals being arrested. But I'm going to bring in now the provincial manager, Cyril Mncwabe, who's going to elaborate on that point. We're hearing that the reason why there was so much chaos and tensions, there was someone that was allegedly arrested. Maybe just to clarify for us, I know there was a Home Affairs van that was also involved in the matter?
Good afternoon to yourself and the viewers. What actually happened in the morning, we were supposed to be taking some of the people that are supposed to appear before the court as part of compliance to the Immigration Act that requires that anybody that needs to be deported needs to appear first before the magistrate and be confirmed for deportation. So as we were loading using our own vehicles from Home Affairs, people thought that these people were being arrested and taken to Lindela, which is our repatriation center in Johannesburg. So there was that misinformation on the side maybe of the Malawians, because the matter had been discussed and agreed to in terms of the approach yesterday, that there will be people taken to the court for confirmation before they can be loaded into the buses that must leave for Malawi.
Maybe just to explain to us why some are being repatriated and why some are being deported.
Let me just try and explain why we're running a dual process, as you want to know. We're running a dual process because when you're going to do a repatriation is solely supposed to be funded by the government of the country where these people come from. So which means we are relying upon the Malawians to provide transport for the people. And there has been very slow progress from their side in terms of acquiring buses, necessary buses to come and take the people out. Then here in South Africa, the directive was that if the government of South Africa has got to come in and assist with this whole process, we cannot use the money of the South African government to do repatriation. Only thing we can do is to do a deportation. That is why when you go with the route of deportation, you've got to take people to the court, and that is what we are currently busy with.
So just to understand, are we now saying that the South African government is somewhat now involved in terms of funding this process? Because initially it was stated that it was the Malawian I beg your pardon, the Malawian government.
Yes, the government has already made a decision for us to also implement deportation, which is a process that is solely funded by the government. And it's a responsibility of the Department of Home Affairs to ensure that every person that needs to be taken out of the country through our processes we've got to get that kind of a confirmation by the magistrate. That's why I say we are currently running these two processes, because the slow movement of the Malawi government in terms of ensuring that enough buses are coming to take the citizens of Malawi out.
That's Cyril Mncwabe there, the provincial manager of Home Affairs in the province of KZN. About 7,000 to 10,000 Malawian nationals and migrants from the Democratic Republic of Congo. They fled to Sherwood Hall to seek safety, and they believe they are being targeted in their respective communities, much like Diakonia Center, where we've also been covering and extensively for the weeks now to showcase what has been transpiring in those respective communities. But throughout last week, we've also seen several buses from Malawi collecting people to transport them back to Malawi's capital, Lilongwe. But the numbers here keep growing, and conditions on the ground are not conducive. The infrastructure here at Sherwood Hall, as you can see on your screens right now, the transit site is severely strained. We've seen humanitarian organizations like Gita the Givers and local communities banded together and actively stepping in to provide various things like blankets and mattresses and formula and hot meals. But due to the overcrowding here, as you can see, and the sanitation issues, disaster management teams are really stretched here. We're also told that this particular group might be moving to the Tills Crescent Sports Grounds. That's about 3 kilometers away. We're told that they are trying to keep women and children and men apart at the Sherwood Park, and they'll also be doing a processing here, because right now on the grounds, as you can see, the situation is really becoming untenable. Also yesterday, my colleague Nonhlakanipho Magwaza, who has been covering the story extensively, she also told me that a specialized virtual priority court has been set up directly linked to the Durban Magistrates Court, and this is very important because it will allow for the magistrates to process immigration cases and issue formal deportation orders without having to transport like massive numbers of people through the city. So right now, as we can see, it is relatively calm compared to the scenes that transpired earlier on. About 1,876 individuals have been processed by Home Affairs, the Department of Home Affairs. We've seen them also issuing out a statement saying that the vast majority lacked valid immigration status, citing expired permits and visas and undocumented statuses. But as you can see on your screens right now, as my colleague Zamani Tlutla also on another vantage point shows you what the transit camp looks like as we talk over the visuals as that meeting has just concluded.
And Jade, very quickly, with plans to move the group and separate them, as you clarify, what does that now say about the process process of repatriation and the pace of repatriation, especially looking at the number of buses that are arriving. They don't seem sufficient enough compared to the large group of migrants who are stationed there. Okay, we appear to have lost SABC News reporter Jade Pulser live from the Sherwood Hall in Durban in KwaZulu-Natal, saying that a sense of calm has been restored after police had clashed with a group of Malawian